It's 2021. Meet Me for Coffee podcast. We got an amazing guest from Los Angeles, the California that we all love. He's a comedian, actor, producer. He's here to talk about his new film, which is in pre-production. Jae Benjamin, how's it going, man?
Going well. How are you, George?
I'm doing great. Living it up in the lockdown phase of this COVID-19 thing. The weight loss thing, I've tried starting, but it's so tempting, man. You get so addicted to fast food. And I know the dude from what's it called Super Size Me, he was right. It's like crack cocaine. Like having fast food, it's like crack cocaine. You have McDonald's, then you want Subway, then you want Chinese food. So once you get hooked on that stuff, it kind of sucks to get off it. So this is like my third day on this cool diet where I'm trying not to eat bread at all, and it's so hard.
No red meat.
Yeah.
It's harder, George, when you're in lockdown and you have food in the house. Like first of all, you're blessed to have food. Absolutely. So you have the food. And then you circle around it like all day because there's nothing else to do. So you're like a shark to red meat, and you're just like swimming around and you just end up eating shit all day. And lies the problem. I think I was telling you earlier, like I wanted to look nice for the show and I haven't put on this jacket since last March. And it's tough to put on. It's tough to put on the jacket. So COVID's got me.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to get up and see if it all kind of comes together at the bottom. But
thank you.
One time I was in Beverly Hills. I went to a restaurant and I got completely smashed. And I went to Zara and I bought a jacket that I thought looked good, but honestly, I bought it. It didn't even fit me. Like it fit my arms, but it wouldn't go around me. But it looked great.
Chris Farley and what was the movie? Fat Man in a red coat. And he rips the jacket. What was it? Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy, yeah, with David Spade.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome, man.
Hilarious.
You're a comedian yourself. You have actually helped start the Blue Collar Comedy.
Well, a long time. Yeah, when I first started out in 96, 97, I was the door guy at Caroline's on Broadway. And I just left college and I got I got my first apartment ever in New York City. And my dad's like, "You're gonna need to go get a job." And I answered an ad in what's called Backstage Magazine when you still answered ads physically. And I became the door guy and the barker for the owner of the club, Caroline Hirsch, and the head booker in the country till this day, wow. Louis Miranda. And I met everybody before they were even big stars. Even Jimmy Fallon would come through, and Fallon was still living in a shared apartment where he was in a studio the size of like an airplane bathroom, and then he had a bathroom literally that he had to share with 4 strangers, and those were those days.
Not these days where you have to probably sanitize every time you go in.
Yeah, and you have to make sure there isn't COVID everywhere. Like nowadays it's scary. They even tell you when you get on an airplane, try not to use the bathroom. Can you imagine? Like, hey, welcome to American Airlines. Don't take a shit. Yeah. It's like, you can fly with us, you can die with us, but you can't take a shit.
and then when you go take a shit, like they go up on the PA and it's like, "Yo, who fucking did this?"
Yeah, we weren't prepared for that. The whole airplane smells like your deuce. It's terrible. Like,
But it's so terrible, right? Like you're actually, I forget what it is. You want to actually get on the plane. If you have a seat at the back of the plane,
right.
Apparently you want to get on first, right? And then so you don't walk past people. That's how you get sick, apparently. And I read that in like a magazine.
What you get sick when you walk past the people? Yeah, right. Because they're already sneezing and coughing and breathing in the recycled air and everything like that. I agree with that. I have a secret though. Anytime I fly, I always get on the plane first, and it doesn't matter where on the plane I'm sitting. I'm always first, and that's it. So I don't.
Well, that's because you're probably like high and drunk, and you want to just pass out, man. Like what the hell?
No, well, no, I not really. Not till the edibles don't kick in until the flight starts. I'll eat the edibles like an hour before getting on the plane.
It hits you as you're like going into turbulence, and that's when it really trips you hard, and
I actually, in a sick way, I enjoy it. Like I've been flying since I was a kid, and my dad used to fly Pipers. So, and I would fly these Pipers with my dad. So I loved it. So I'm okay with a little bit of turbulence. It's if people start freaking out
Yeah.
around you that it ends up becoming a scary experience because now people are spreading panic like a domino effect. And I've seen that on airplanes, and it's just that's a shit show.
It's like riding a wave, right? That's all.
Yeah,
They get through the clouds and whatever. Some planes go down, but like
yeah, right.
it's really, really rare to get into an accident, especially in the air, because everything's kind of prearranged where you're on your kind of your line, and then the other plane's on its kind of other line on top of you and whatever. So if things do collide, there's like some massive mistake, right? Or
Or a bird flies into an engine. Like back in the day, you used to see a lot of that, right? Like
yeah,
planes go down because they like a migration of ducks or geese or pigeons or some weird bird that's almost extinct that you've only heard of twice in your life flew through the engine of the bird, caused that engine, and the whole thing went down, and that's it. You
yeah,
know,
you're like the most indestructible man ever, and the bird just does it for you. You're going on.
literally, I'm at the bottom already eating chicken. Like I got it stick. I'm like the last man on Castaway, and I'm waiting for the rescue to come. I'm fucking eating fried chicken already. Whatever went through there, I'm eating it. I'm like, fuck it. I'm the last one on Earth.
Oh shit.
I'll eat that.
Yeah, man. Like that's the one thing that I always think about. I'm going on this trip, and this be my last trip.
Right? I've had that thought. It's scary.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
scary. You're not a human if you don't even think for half a second that this this adventure could go completely wrong. Like you don't want a law of attraction. Okay, you like everything in action, what you think, what you believe, words you put out there, your thoughts you admit. I believe heavily in that. So you definitely don't want to be on the plane going, "This is going down." That's not that's not the thought you want to have, especially if there's 100 other people who think the same thing, because then it's definitely going down. So I agree with that, but you have to really
And I've never
really
plane
live your life,
besides the
right?
one plane that dropped in the Hudson River, that made the water landing. I've never seen a plane
Sully.
do that, right?
Yeah,
So
Sully, right? Tom Hanks played Sully in the movie about Sully, who landed that plane. That's the one you're speaking about, right?
yeah,
Landed that airplane and saved the people. Like that's insanity. That's just brilliant. Like it's first of all, it's knowing how to like everybody in life ends like their people end up being great at what they do, no matter what they choose to do. My dad would always say, I don't care if you're a garbage man or the best actor and entertainer or whatever in the world. Like if you can even become there or get there, just be the best at it, right? So Sully was the best pilot, probably one of the best pilots. Like you could probably put him next to one of our best fighter pilots, maybe, and maybe he'd give that guy or girl or woman, I mean that respectfully, woman, man, whatever it is, like maybe he gives her or him a run for their money, in a flying contest. You never know, but he's one of the best at what he does, like having one of the best brain surgeons that do the brain surgery, the best of the best. And he just was one of those people who could take that plane and land it. That's actually a really great story. Yeah, obviously they made a movie.
and that's something that people practice who want to become pilots and pilots in general. They have that in the back of their mind always, right? And it's something that may never happen to you in your whole career, flying from here to there, but gladly probably thought of it, right? I know a lot of pilots, even I would probably freaking freeze if something happened like that.
Right?
Yeah. Where's Jay eating the chicken, man? Like, where the hell? Let's talk about we'll make a segue from airplanes and accidents to your newest project. It's like Airplane, but on a subway. It's called Subway the Movie. We talked last night, and when you said my new movie's called Subway the Movie, I was like, man, so Jared Fogel's coming out with like a biopic.
Man, funny.
Tell me about it, man. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this is really probably, this is one of the most exciting moments of my career for sure. And the movie's called Subway. It is the airplane of 2021. For those of you who've seen the movie Airplane or remember the Police Academy movies from the 80s, and Airplane was precursor to that, the Zuckers, and it's that movie, but on the New York City subway system. And I wrote it with my best friend, who is a brother and like a father and everything to me, in his 60s. His name is Robert Epstein, and he's been riding the New York City subway for all of his years, 30, 40 years. And I had been riding the subway for like 20, 30 years, so it's interesting. And we came together and we put this movie together, and we had guidance from a friend of ours. His best friend since childhood is Steve Guttenberg, the actor, and they kind of brought me in their circle of people, which is a whole different conversation and blessing in my career in life to get surrounded by these guys, and the kind of championing us from behind the scenes. So we wrote this film, and it's taken like 17 years to get where we are with it, and it's been in so many interesting places and other places where that we really didn't want it to be, and everything, rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection, and lots of failure with it, and we just kept pushing the ball. And then the further I got in my career into the industry, the more I was able to leverage this film and get it to a place, because my friends who we kind of were in the same class, breaking into the business together, they also were getting different leverage grounds. And I was able to turn around to one of them, Jeff Krause, who was responsible actually for getting me on the show, is also my business partner on Fandom Live with Cedric the Entertainer, and also, at the head of my management and really is part of Team Benjamin. Without him, I don't know where I'd be. I love him to death. But together, him and I put it together, and he brought in a guy that greenlit the film and said, we've got all the money for this that you need. And that was luck, because the guy just happened to love the picture and love the concept and love where they could see this movie go and what it could do. And just opened up the floodgate on that. And that's its own huge and one of the biggest hurdles of them all. And then now we're on the side of it where we've been making hard offers to some of the biggest and baddest stars, and I mean badass, in the world. We've been out there making offers to them. And little did I know this would be the next second hardest hurdle ever. It was like, now we have the money, we have tens of millions of dollars to make it, and we can accommodate anybody in the business. And now that's the next hurdle. It's like getting somebody with a big enough name to move the needle when the film is released, to sell tickets, to physically say, yeah, I'm on board this picture, I get it, I'm definitely in to do this, let's rock and roll. That's not to say I haven't, and we haven't already attached some big stars. We have a ton of big stars and thousands of cameos lined up, because the subway lines up for every walk of life at any given moment. So that opportunity is huge and constant throughout the whole picture. So we've got that lined up. We're trying to peg down the three main leads of the film that we really want to drive the picture home to the big audiences, and also identify with the millennials, identify with the extras, identify with everything going on, plus with everybody still locked down and at home and over here and over there. We want this film to be identifiable on a global level, because anyone with a transportation can identify this film, and anyone who's wanted to go to New York City and see the New York City subway because you get discovered on the platform and you're the next big singer or magician or actor or actress or this or that, and everything going on the subway. I mean, it's just so awesome. But ours is this, again, like Airplane the movie was, it's a politically incorrect, over the top, raunchy, hilarious, in your face, just no-brainer meatball comedy that we love and that we feel you guys will love, especially in today's climate with everything going on. It's just one of these no-brainers. So it's fun. really fun and an honor that
Awesome. It hits close to home too, right? Because yeah, the New York feel is your kind of thing and something you remember,
yeah.
and now you'll be able to bring that to life with many others and popular people, some extras, and maybe Jeff can get me the spot for James Bond, man. Like, Daniel Craig, he doesn't want to do it anymore. All these people just wanted to screw off after the movie.
I have a good group. Him and Mitch Faulkner at 123 Management. You got Jeff at IE Group, and then you have my other manager who was Lorna Rainey. And that's Express Talent. And so I have a great group of people. It's lucky, but Jeff and I have been best friends before his role came in, where he's like, I'm really going to stand in front of you now and really help guide you and get you into the right place. That set in for him later. Like, I was doing my thing for all the years before even knowing him, and then he became him, and he's doing all these amazing things, and then he kind of got pushed into that role, and it's working out really well, for him. So it's really a beautiful blessing to see him transition in the industry too. And he's still one of the biggest celebrity event party throwers in the game. If you want to go to an A-list red carpet event and hang out with celebrities, that's the guy you kind of want to talk to, because he's responsible for a majority of those events. And if it's not him, it's his friends who are. So it's really cool, and it's beautiful seeing our friends transition and become wonderful figures in the industry and do such great stuff. Like Fan Room Live with Cedric. Jeff created that with Cedric the Entertainer and Mitch. And then they brought in Chanel, and then they called me on the phone and they say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And my first response was no. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't want to do it. And then, they're like, "Wow, okay." And then they called me like a couple weeks later, and he's like, "Dude, are you sure you don't want to do this? Let me really explain this to you." And after that, I was like, "Okay, I'm in. I'll do this." And then I fell in love with it. And the shows have been amazing, and anything can happen. And, we ended up having Brant Doherty on, and I gave away $400,000 in artwork to Brant and to Cedric through a friend of mine who happens to be a huge representative of major up-and-coming artists and pop artists and everything like that. And she gave me the opportunity to give the artwork away. So we gave it away, and we did stuff like that. That came out of the sky and was super cool. And, experiences like we had AJ Brer on, the psychic, and medium, and he did some amazing stuff. And I was testing him to make sure he was real, and he really was real, because he'd answer questions nobody could possibly know the answers to ever, because I haven't told anyone, but he was able to tell me exactly what I wanted to hear, and it was like mind blowing. And then his fans would come on, and they want to get in touch with loved ones. And I remember moments where I had tears coming out of my eyes with people lost ones to cancer and COVID situations and this and that. He was able to connect them and again give them information that nobody could ever know. But those people, you had the goosebumps the whole show, and it was just unbelievable. And then like Cedric, we had a Christmas show with Santa that was hilarious. Cedric comes on and asks Santa if the ring kind of screws up his vibe to deliver packages. And I almost fell off the chair. Probably one of the funniest moments on the show so far in all the months was Cedric going to Santa, "Does the ring kind of mess up your vibe? Does it kind of tip people off that you're coming?" And I'll never forget that, because it's one of the funniest jokes ever. And it was $1 million line of just like, "Yeah, Santa, how do you deliver a package with everybody who has home security these days? Like, how do you get away with sneaking down our chimney, eating our cookies and leaving? How do you do it, big man?" So that was really funny, and it's great. And February is a fun month. We got people coming up. Jake the Snake Roberts coming back, but popular demand. Everybody wants to see Jake. He was amazing on the first show. That too was a very real show, very tangible. We were able to really get in with him, and he allowed us into his private bubble of who he is and really talk, no BS, straight to it, no holds barred. And that was so loved and appreciated. He'll be back in, I think it's February 7th or 9th. You'd have to check the Fan Room Live website, but he'll be back. And then, we have other great people coming on at the end of the month, like on the 21st. It just amazing stuff. Just it's just a great experience. It's a great experience if anything can happen.
You guys have an awesome lineup, right? Yeah, you guys have had George Lopez,
Yep.
Cedric the Entertainer.
I wasn't on for George Lopez, but yeah, Cedric. Cedric and D.L. Hughley and George Wayne, former Vanity Fair scribe, who's a dear friend of mine, and love him, and a bunch of Richard Klein from Three's Company. Brilliant list of people. Brant Daugherty, Holland Roden, again, Jake the Snake. We had Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was awesome. I kept telling him, dude, you gotta let me be your next Jimmy Hart. If you ever wrestle again, I want to run next to you and screaming in the megaphone, and I want to piss people off, and then get in a fight in a ring, and then get escorted out. It was stuff like that. I don't know when you're gonna get that experience, especially because we're doing it live online. It's different than when they're sitting right next to you. The give and go is different. The communication, the internet is different. It's just different. It's wonderful and a blessing that we're able to do this. This
Absolutely.
is a true blessing. Thank God. Whatever you believe in, thank it. But it's just different. So those types of conversations and those interactions are equally as powerful, is what I'm saying. Is if they were right here, you're just getting a different reaction than you would if they were right here. It's just as real and just as important, but it's just something even a little more intimate, I think, that happens, because we're coming into your house or wherever you are, your hotel. We're coming into your private bubble. You're coming into ours, and there's just a different, their dogs bark in the background, their children come in the door, or wife or something. You know what I mean? Their real life starts to come into play with what we're doing, and what's going on here. And I always love that.
It's like reality TV, man.
Yeah, but not so much. I mean, reality TV is as good as it's been hurtful, because then it's changed the whole medium of film. Movies now really have to be almost so real that they become frightening in a sense, because you identify way too much, and it takes away from the entertainment edge. I always loved movies that you could take somebody out of their world for a minute. And I remember when cancer was such a big topic in the news, so to speak. I mean, it's such a big topic, period. It'll never go away. But it was so big and so affecting everybody that every movie now had to have a cancer patient in it. And the main actor had to have a friend that was either dying of or is dying of or was the cancer. That was that. And before that was AIDS. And you had Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. And he played one of the greatest lawyers ever that was ousted in Philadelphia. I was born in Philly, but he was ousted for being gay and being an attorney that had AIDS. And that was it. So these cycles of stuff, that reality stuff hurts me personally. I get so sad because apparently there's no a place to escape anymore sometimes. You need a place to escape. I believe the Marvel movies are so big and the fantasy films are so big as always, because that's a real escape. It's a real movie, even though now you'll find out, I don't know, and I'm just saying this, but one of the episodes, Batman's gonna end up having cancer. He's Superman. I'm sorry to say it. Robin's gonna take over. I need to get a lymph node removed. And I'm gonna take the Batmobile and then I'm gonna fly back really quick. They're gonna start adding that type of reality into our favorite superheroes, and that's gonna suck because superheroes are supposed to be impervious of everything. So that type of reality stuff I think is hurtful. We need to get a line again. We really need a line back, George, where we can do anything and it's considered entertainment. And then there are things that you can question if you want. But a lot of it is shifted, and that reality is too real. And people get too mad and too serious about stuff. And it's we're still entertainers. We're going to say stuff that bothers you, and we're going to say stuff that bothers us. But it's not to really bother you. It's just to express how we are shining the little crystal ball, and we dust it off and we show it to you and we go, this is how we see it. It doesn't make us right. It doesn't make us wrong. It just makes us, have a perspective in our own little entertaining way, so that's where the line is shifted.
Yeah. exactly. I mean, like you try and tell a joke sometime. You try and throw something in, and like just when you think the person is going to turn around and laugh, they turn around and look at you and be like, "Yo, you're fucked." You know?
Yeah, you're racist, or how could you say that? Me too, and how dare you? And you hate this, and you're a hater on that, or whatever it is. Like I remember I tweeted, and it's not like I have a huge following on my social media because I'm more like I got in it in the beginning, which was great, but I don't focus on it like that. I'm not the biggest star in the world, but I have millions of fans, so I just kind of tinker with it and I have fun. But like I remember tweeting like I forget how long ago when um, for the life of me, I forget his name because I'm on the spot, but he was getting the presidential award from Trump in the office. He was giving the presidential medal of freedom and honor and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And he's a famous like wrestler, you know, and everybody loves him. And I love him too. I have no problem.
Jesse Ventura?
What's that?
Jesse Ventura?
No. I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly who it was. He was getting the medal from Trump, him and his family, and they're in the office, and here it is, Dan Gable, right? So he's getting the Medal of Freedom, okay?
Okay.
And he's in the office, okay? And he's in the office with Trump, right? And none of them, I don't know like how many people, like I don't care like if you're anti-masker, anti-vaxxer, pro this, pro, I don't care about that per se. I don't get into that. I believe what I believe, and I know the virus is real. I've had friends die. I've had other friends get really sick with it. It's definitely real. Whatever is really going on with all this, it's really kind of fucked. And they're in the White House where it's literally COVID central, and none of them are wearing masks. And his whole family's there, as I just showed you. Like the whole family of people are there.
Yeah.
Not one person's wearing a mask. So I tweeted, I'm like, well, that's great that you're getting this medal, but now you and all 90 of your family members need to go home and quarantine. You guys need to be wearing masks. You need to be responsible. Now, in probably one of the first times in my career, I started getting heat on Twitter in a bunch of tweets, and people are calling me a hater of this, of that. And I'm like, I'm not hating on anything. I'm just saying, dude needs to be responsible. You're in the White House. Whether you believe it or not, you need to wear a mask because most of the people in that room you're in, they're sick. And I don't mean in the head right now in this conversation. I mean, they're carrying a virus, like no matter what. And they didn't, and just, you know, it's stuff like that. It's like, that's what's scary about it. It doesn't matter what you believe and what you don't. Like you're it's not a political thing. You're protecting yourself, a neighbor, a friend. Just doesn't matter. It's just an act of kindness at this point to the people around you. Love them or hate them. You never know who you need to go and speak to one day. Protect them as you would protect yourself.
Well, there's a ton of keyboard warriors out there, and we all know that, right? But what they don't know is that now by association, I know Jake the Snake Roberts and Kurt Angle, and I challenge anybody to meet me outside at 3:00 at the flagpole because I'll bring those guys and you'll see what happens, man. Exactly. I'm sure they know people too.
Right? Exactly right. And that's funny what you said, the type warrior, the typing warrior, like
keyboard warrior.
Yeah. It's true. It's true, man. Everyone, that's the thing. Everyone's looking for a reason to hate on you. That cancel.
I don't like the cancel culture stuff, man. There's a guy, he united Canada, and they decided to bring down a statue. It's like because he could have been a racist or whatever. It's like people just look at our mistakes. Yeah, just calm down, have some coffee, whatever, man. Just go watch some TV.
My favorite thing, man. Coffee and cannabis.
How do you take your coffee, man?
What's that?
How do you take your coffee?
In a mug. How do you take yours?
Oh man, that was the best one. That was the best one so far.
I literally, my machine is over there. I don't use the cups. Everybody uses the cups and the cups. I'm not into that. I'm pretty old school. I don't grind the beans. Sometimes I grind the beans, but I put it through the filter, put it through the machine, and I like my I like my Hershey's Coffee Mate creamer. Coffee Mate makes them. What's that?
I've never had that before.
Coffee Mate, and you're welcome, Coffee Mate, for this quick little advertisement. I love you. They make some amazing creamers, artificially flavored and full of all the sugar that causes cancer, but I love it and I drink it.
Hey, you only live once, right? At least
exactly right. How do you take a coffee creamer once in a while to make a White Russian? Take a little vodka, take the flavored coffee creamer, a little milk, shake that shit up, and it's like perfect.
Really? You've done it before. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's that little secret to everybody. That can be used to make a phenomenal drink with vodka, like you would make a White Russian. Use the Coffee Mate coffee creamer. It's the bomb.
And if you have over 4 of them, beware. Do not make any plans the next morning because
not at all.
You'll be up more than once to go to the washroom.
Yeah, you will be up quite a few times, but it'll be worth it, and you will be cleansed.
You will be cleansed. You'll feel like your stomach and your bowels are twisted like a towel, a wet towel, but everything will be cleansed, and you'll be a brand new man.
Or woman, brand new man or woman, but you'll be able to eat like a horse the following day.
and hopefully that's not happening while you're on a plane and the bird flies to the edge. And
exactly. And all of a sudden you've got to use an American Airlines bathroom and they told you can't shit on this plane. like
what are you doing? I got to use the washroom.
Right? But you have to wear a mask and they still serve you drinks, but you can't take a shit. Figure that out.
Oh my God.
It's weird, right? Like you have to wear a mask, but they serve you drinks. The minute you go to take a sip of a drink, they scream at you. I said Carrot Top posted something like this on his Instagram feed, and Scott is awesome. And I've had the honor to hang out and meet him quite a few times and just whatever. But he just posted something on Instagram. He was on a plane and they keep serving him red wine. And every time he takes his mask down to sip the red wine, they keep screaming at him. And he's got to put the mask back on. He's like, what the fuck? like make up your mind. Like, what are the rules here? Plus you can't take a shit. So it's all just it's ass backwards.
So how do people travel long distance? They just wear diapers then?
That's a great idea. You know, George, we probably could market that, a new adult diaper for COVID community for travel purposes. So you can just shit in your seat while you fly, which may actually now save you the middle seat if a passenger knows that you're wearing an adult doggy diaper. No, if you're wearing an adult COVID diaper and
it would have to be like all padded inside and have lots of room.
Bro, you know how funny of a skit that would be? It's like somebody just spoofs people, gets on the plane in the mask, and then just sits down in the middle seat with the people around him and just starts shitting like crazy. Going nuts. And he's like, don't worry. I have a diaper on because you can't use the bathroom. And they're freaking out.
Well, imagine doing that and actually having to go to the washroom. How do you get back to I can't think of myself just being able to push it out into my pants, right?
I have no idea because that's the only time I've ever shit the bed or shit the pants. I've never shit the bed, but I mean, trying to squeeze trying to squeeze a fart out or something, and it goes a little too far. And then you shard, and you got to wipe it and throw those away. That's the end of that.
It sounds like an airsoft rifle, man.
Bro, I mean, look, who hasn't sharded their pants at least once? You have enough coffees, and you're like, oh, I can squeak this out. And you're like, boop. You're like, oh, that was a little far, a little too far. I need to get rid of these quick. But yeah, it's a scary situation to not be able to shit on an airplane. I don't poop in public anyway. Most of my people know me personally. The one thing I will not do, I will hold it for days.
Yeah, you don't just go out in the open, right? You go home.
No. I mean, if you got it like going camping. You're like on a camping trip. You just squat up on a tree, hope you don't get ivy in the middle of your asshole. That's a whole different story. Or like Borat pooping on Trump Tower.
There's an actor for your movie right there.
Sasha.
Sasha.
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Like the way he comes off with like he's the seriousness, but like he can be very funny. I think that would be ideally. I think that would be great. Like that'd be awesome.
He's funny. We have some his. If you remember the first Borat, and I can say this, Ken Davidian, who played his manager, who now stars on Cobra Kai, and he's in a bunch of different episodes, and he has another one coming out, Mr. Mayfair. He's a really good friend of mine also, and he is going to be in Subway, along with another good friend of mine and a couple others that I can't really say, or I just won't say. But speaking of Borat and then that group, he read the script and he called me on the phone. He goes, "This is the funniest." His exact words were, "This is the funniest fucking thing I've read in a long time, and you totally did me justice." Because he told me, he goes, "If I read this, it needs to be as funny or funnier than Meet the Spartans." When he was in Meet the Spartans and he spoofed 300. And I said, "Well, I'm not the one to say that ever, because I'm still always a big fan of film, as much as I've been writing them since I was a kid and now getting to this point." I'm like, "So it's really up for you to say." And he called me. He goes, "Yeah, bro, like this is as funny, if not funnier than
Awesome.
than that." And he goes, I'm fucking in. I'm in. And I was like, "Ah, this is awesome." That was a huge honor for me because.
So what's the timeline for this project?
Well, COVID really just took a poop on everything, and I'm hopeful. April, May, June, July, August, latest of this spring and summer we'll get it done. It's a 35-day shoot. It's not a long shoot. 35 days in New York City in a COVID compliant set on a location. We already have everything, pretty much broken down how we want it to go and how we want it to look and how to keep everybody safe and COVID free and get everything done. So again, it's 35-day shoot in New York City. So we're hopeful to get it done like late spring, early summer, again, late summer latest. Even if it's like September, I wouldn't be that upset. But again, it depends on some pretty big elements that are lingering right now. We have offers out to some of the biggest names in the business who, are very interested in this project and want to be part of it and understand it and see where it can go and understand every side of it and just the whole part from the merchandising to the marketing to the being identifiable, to everybody being able to identify to it and just the temperament of the film and a climate of a world right now that we're in. It sits well with everybody who's reading it so far. So couple more things and boom, we'll go. And as soon as it's like 2 or 3 things left to click in to the cog, and once they're clicked in, boom, we'll go make this movie.
That's absolutely incredible, man. Jay, thanks for joining us for this episode. 2021 is going to be a great year for everyone. This show, Jae Benjamin, his new movie in production, Subway, the movie.
Subway.
He looks like Jared Fogelblatt. I rest assured. It's not about anything about that guy. I don't know what the hell happened to that dude, but Subway subs.
Maybe I'll play him in a movie. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I would hope so. You look exactly like the guy. Like, fuck.
I'm honored. I appreciate you, and this show is great, George. And I'm so thankful that you wanted to have me on, and we did this. It means a lot to me, and what you're doing means a lot to me as well. Because without you and a platform, people like me and others, they don't have a place. So we need you. So it's good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, George.